Twin Cities Greenways is a group of residents promoting a new kind of park. Our concept is to replace the pavement on a quiet residential street with green space. Our model, Milwaukee Avenue in South Minneapolis, was converted to a park 30 years ago.
We should have places where people can walk and bike and enjoy family, but also be a wonderful alternative to, driving or taking public transportation. I think biking and walking are great, viable options, and we need to make sure that there's a lifestyle that is encouraged.
The Greenway corridor, like the Midtown Greenway, works really well because you don't have a lot of interaction with traffic, but we don't have a lot more rail corridors like that, so we're looking at Milwaukee Avenue as a model for converting quiet residential streets to greenways.
No matter how tight-knit a normal block might be, the street is still owned by whoever's driving it. And if you're going to cross the street, you're almost going in foreign territory.
One of the most frequent complaints I get at neighborhood meetings are people talking about excessive speeds and people not being very pleasant in their driving habits. The proposal with the Greenways Coalition allows us to use our city streets as places to create bike routes and then also create a neighborhood amenity of walking paths and less traffic.
I think it just promotes being outside, being physically active, healthy kind of activities, especially if you have a family. That's something that you can do to get more connected to each other.
It's one of those places you look at and you're just like, it's like this little, almost like magical kind of thing.
So we all know our neighbors, we recognize who they are. We've got a real strong, tight community here. If you talk to the realtors, they'll tell you you pay a little bit of a premium to live on Milwaukee Avenue, and the houses tend to sell relatively quickly.
This is the kind of area people would like to live. Mm-hmm.
I would love to see more young people on bikes. A lot of our young people don't know their own community.
I have young kids, so it'd be nice to have that kind of green space for them to be a part of.
And the opportunity for us to be on bikes, and especially as my kids get older, to be able to, for them to be able to, navigate, like biking on their own.
It was cool because you don't have to cross streets and stuff, and I think it'd be fun to walk around and run around and stuff. I like to play sports, so it'd be easy to play sports around here because the ball can't go in the street.
You don't have to worry about, like what she said, worry about cars. And creates a real quiet neighborhood in a kind of busy area.
And I think it could serve as a positive sort of community gathering space. If that street was closed, I think it would have more pedestrians and it would be slower, and I think it has that opportunity for people to build social networks and relationships.
And there's a great sense of community and just like an ownership of this little area, and so people like to know that they've got this little spot that they get to take care of.
We need to have some of that kind of creativity in North Minneapolis.
One of the things we've talked about with Twin Cities Greenways is wanting to start here, partly because we think that it's a really transformative idea.
Communities like North Minneapolis need the kind of amenities that will enhance the quality of life for residents.
We need routes into downtown. We need amenities associated with those routes.
I think it would be a huge amenity in the north side to have a greenway. There are other parts of the city that have amenities like that, and I think a amenity like that could, really be a great asset on the north side.
To be able to have access is incredible. And because if we have access, we will take advantage of it and we will use it.
For the areas that's proposed, I think that it would be kind of a catalyst in change in mindset and change in just the livability of the area, making people want to live in an area right now where it's not their number one choice.
If I had known about this when I was looking for homes, I would definitely came over here first.
I do use biking as a major mode of transportation, my main mode. I like the idea of having more accessible trails off the streets. I also like the opportunity to kind of engage as residents to find out kind of what community residents want and be able to work that process out.
This proposal is a really unique idea, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge to talk to people about losing some of their parking. That's always the thing that people worry about, and so it's going to be a challenge to us to make the sell, to tell people that they will get a more peaceful street and the ability to have an amenity that we don't have now.
The bike trail that would go down the center would be wide enough for emergency vehicles as well. As far as car access, the homes either have garages with an alley. There are also some homes here that have no garage, and they park in little parking lots like this one here. And there's space also, like here is a good example. You can add some extra parking and have some space for other stuff just by closing off that cross street. And that makes it so if you're walking or biking along, you're on a continuous trail that you don't have to stop every block.
There's been a fair amount of conversation, planning, community engagement around strategies for making communities more walkable, more bikeable, but having a group that's focused on the implementation of how to get that done, I think is really critical.
Because one thing that I've always tried to live by, and it's a quote from Gandhi, but he said, we must be the change that we want to see in the world. So I mean, if it's kind of like if it's going to be, it starts with me.
Basically, that's what we need to do. We need to take back the streets, and it can't be just a slogan. We have to find ways of bringing people onto the streets.
Twin Cities Greenways is a nonprofit organization powered by residents and volunteers. To learn more or get involved, visit us through our website or Facebook.